That's right, we have a brand new show from 12 to 2 p.m. from Monday to Friday, live on Philly Hot Radio. Call us at 484-477-6348. See ya. Hi, and welcome to Philly Hot Radio. My name is Showtime the Hypeman. We got a great show today. We made it through the weekend, and today is Friday. So before we get started, it's important for those who are watching us around the world. My name is Showtime the Hypeman, and we're going to say some things here. We hope that you sit down, and we're looking for people that have a mastering skills listening. I want to say that again. What we're about to say, it's important that you pay attention. We're about to have those who are got ears where we have never learned how to use our mastering skills of listening. Don't look at me or because I'm Showtime the Hypeman. We got a great show today. We're about to take this show around the world. My name is Showtime the Hypeman, and we're building something that nobody else can do. So get ready for the brand new 12 noon show. Hit it. Hi, this is Showtime the Hypeman on Philly Radio. That's right, we have a brand new show from 12 to 2 p.m. from Monday to Friday, live on Philly Hot Radio. Call us. So we are back. So my name is Showtime the Hypeman. Before I get into our guests, we have an outstanding two positive brothers that has a positive message to help our community. They took their time out today just to come here to make sure that everything is going well. Before I get into the show, I want to talk about what is really going on. We just saw that they had someone was fighting in a community over a stimulus check where this guy shot the girl and the boyfriend over a stimulus check where now he's in penitentiary and a mother is going where now the children is going where. Be careful. Don't get crazy with that stimulus money where we know what the money is for when they pass that bill. It's not about splitting the money with your boyfriend. It's about taking that money and paying them bills and make sure them kids got some brand new sneakers or some things that you can help your children out. It's too many adults scrambling that money think it's theirs when only because of the kids why you get that large money. I want to bring that out there for my audience. So be careful. And really take a look where none of us have never learned how to budget your money anyway because you've been caught up. I want to talk about, before we get into the show, where most people that works 40 hours a day have never learned how to budget their money. Also that we got so many Afro-American men and women where they've been working all their life for a 40-hour job and have never learned nothing but work for somebody, and as they think they retired with a retirement check or a pension check, they think they made it. Then they go around bragging about how long they've been on their job. Well, we know that jobs is nothing but slavery. It's an old tactic. It's an old slavery of the mindset because our parents never told us about business credit. They never told us about that, never told us how to establish our income tax and how we can grow off our income tax. And we have never learned how to be business people. But 80% of all of us are working people that work for somebody else because no one never taught us how to be businessmen. Our mothers and fathers had worked for 40 and 30 years. We doing the same thing, those who was born in the 60s and in the early 50s, where we have never learned nothing but get the money. But when we get the money, we don't know what to do with the money. Ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines are open. For those who like to call the radio station, the phone lines are open at 484-477-6348. We are broadcasting live on Philly Hot Radio. What you going to do with your stimulus check when you get it? Or you going to share it with your boyfriend and y'all go downtown and spend all the money up and forget about the kids? Call us, call up. What are you hearing out there about them stimulus checks that those who are waiting? One guy had a a porch chair near the mailbox, waiting for the mailman to give his check. This is getting crazy when it comes to stimulus check, just like the murders and the killings in the community is getting crazy. But we are just like we have them ICE challenge, where everybody was going around on their pages doing ICE channel. Now, I challenge you to do something that you've never done before. And with Showtime, the Hypeman is putting a package together where I am trying to turn the mindset of the community that I come from. For those who know, I was born and raised in Philadelphia, in the West Philadelphia section of West Philly. But I have went around all communities, have networked with all the brothers that's from Philadelphia, where we are the men's. Back in the day, real men will walk around their community and gather together to find out what's going on in the community. Now that our community is dying, and it's important that we know that. So we're going to get into the show. I just want to put something out there. I just want to encourage somebody, that somebody maybe needs some encouragement today. Always remember, look in the mirror. And those who talking about you and you talk about somebody else, you need to point to yourself, because you think you telling somebody about somebody else. That person you telling, they talking about you. Soon you leave. My name is Showtime, the Hypeman on Philly Hot Radio. For those who like to call in and engage in this powerful message we're going to do. So I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves. So I'm going to let this first brother introduce himself live on Facebook, speaking to the mic.
My name is Donnell Drinks. I'm the co-founder of Grown.
My name is Don Jones, Ike, as everybody call me. I'm a co-founder of Grown.
So good brothers, I want y'all to talk about your nonprofit, your organization, where talk about your background, where we have so many people that are cute. I come from the streets. I'm from 13th and Market. Anybody want to know me? I'm from 13th and Market, where I was one of the original Center City hustlers. I have did my thing in Philadelphia, where I knew that sooner or later, if I keep going, I'll be doing life in prison. I want to give the Honorable Lucian E. Blackwell, rest in peace, and the Honorable James Williams, where they took me off the street and said, look, brother, the way you going, you'll be doing time for the rest of your life. So I want to give a shout out for the leaders before me. I'm not ashamed that I come from where I come from. I'm not ashamed that all the stuff that I did, but it changed my life to make me a better. So I'm going to let these brothers talk about their story. So I hope that y'all are listening and listen up close. So turn your phones on, post this message, because these two brothers got a dynamite message. This is your part of the show, my brother.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you for having us, first of all. Everything you said, it was a good segue into our story and our organization. First, I'll start with our organization. Our organization is called Grown, and it's an acronym, and it stands for Gaining Respect Over Our Worst Nights. And the reason that's significant is because one of the things that we found coming home from incarceration, I served 27 and a half years in incarceration. Mm-hmm. You know, I was previously sentenced to the death penalty, which I got overturned, and subsequently wound up serving a life sentence and did 27 years on the life sentence. I came home in 2018. I don't say that as a badge of honor, but I give context to where my passion comes from, the work I do. You know, it's important to know that we have people out here that work for different purposes. Some people work for money, you know, some people work for fame, you know, and then there's people like us that work for the passion of it, the obligation in the sense that we have to pay back for wrongs we committed at a younger age. We were both juveniles when we went to jail. So as a result of the Miller versus Alabama decision, we were granted re-sentencing hearings, and we both were subsequently released with time served. The reason that's important, we decided, when we came home, we went to work in a reentry field, and we realized that was yet another way of, I don't want to use the word exploiting, but using people of a demographic and not bringing them to the table, not letting them have a voice in their own process of reentering society. So we decided to take everything that we realized was missing and create a platform to give back in a dignified manner. You know, we wanted to know that incarceration wasn't a scarlet letter anymore. You know, while it's not a badge of honor for our community, that's a misnomer that a lot of these young folks operating under. You go to jail and you become this Superman gangster mentality, you know, and that's a misnomer that we gotta get away from. But by the same token, there's so many members of society that has been just as impacted that we need to stop walking around with our heads down and holding up high and say, I'm bigger and greater than my worst night. You know, so instead of saying I was incarcerated, and we changed that conversation to say, and I was incarcerated. So in spite of that, this is what I've been able to do. So Grown is a catalyst and a conduit for people that was just as impacted to give back. However, understanding the impact that crime has on people, we also know it's twofold. We also know there's victims involved in it. You know, and that's the one thing that we go around the country and we speak. That's one thing I don't do personally. I don't say my victim's name, not out of not giving them their just due, but out of respect. I will not victimize again to make them feel that I'm exploiting the process. But I do work in honor of them, you know, and that's important to be known. So one of the things that we said was we're gonna create a platform where everybody got an opportunity to give back. That's the problem with our community. There's no conduit and platform. Those on the platform stay on it by themselves. You know, they don't want to share the limelight. They don't want to give instruction. They don't want to give education on how to better our community. So what we said, we're going to create a conduit where as though anybody that want to do something, whether it's financial contributions, efforts, or get behind other organizations, because we work with anybody that's doing the work, you know, where we're going to be that connecting bridge. So before we get into our individual programs, that's like the premise and the basis of what Grown is.
Right. You know, Don Jones said it again, he called me Ike. Nell said it, you know, fairly well. You know, we felt to need to create something, man, for the people. Something that anybody can grasp onto and be a part of. You know, only people we don't allow in our organization are the ones that's doing the BS. You're not serious about the work, you can't come around us. So we're not gonna play games with that. And he mentioned briefly, we came home, we worked for reentry, and we seen the flaws in that. We seen how, you know, our plight can be used to fatten people's pockets. You know, we refuse to be part of that. So we both left that organization. We felt like we wasn't being respected. Two, we wasn't being compensated for the work that we do.
Come on.
And we was unappreciated. You know, our goal come home was never to work for nobody else. Always work for ourselves.
Come on.
It's always have Grown as our primary source of income. It ain't reached that level yet, but it's getting there. You know, I believe wholeheartedly, man, that when you go to school, you're trained to be a robot. You're trained to go, get a job, work for somebody, live a life.
Come on.
You're not trained to get your own, you know, to create your own. Like entrepreneurship is something that should be taught in school. You know, look at Bill Gates, look at Steve Jobs. These guys, man, they was independent thinkers. You know, who would have thought the internet and these things would go as far as they would now? You know, but they was visionaries. We need vision in our community. We need people who are gonna stand up and say, do the right thing. We need people that's gonna grab. You know, when I was younger, man, a brief story, I was 13, selling drugs on the wrong path. My mother, in her efforts and love to save me, had me sit to St. Gabriel's Hall to try to save me. But at that time in my life, I seen as my mother gave me away. It was my mother out of love trying to save my life and going the way that it eventually went. You know, but me being young and ignorant, I didn't see that. You know, right now, you know, we keep saying that we have a problem with kids in our community. We got a damn adult problem. The adults are scared of the kids.
Come on.
Your son come in the house with new Jordans on. Your daughter come in the house with new jewelry on and stuff. She don't have a job. She ain't buying herself. So I ain't bought her for. But she did something to get that. Ask those questions. Where is money coming from? You know, a lot of our parents, man, they was simplistic in our crimes. They accept the money, they accept the gift and those things. You know, so we kind of made them our co-defendants and they didn't even know it. So no, we're Grown. You know, we want to reach that point, man, where we can insert ourselves into the communities. You know, I'm gonna talk about one project real brief that we have. You know, and that's the safe zones, Grown safe zones. You know, this problem in our community didn't start overnight. It ain't happen overnight. It happened over time. It happened block by block. Think about it. You know, you see these hustlers. I know about you guys since I was a kid. You know,
right.
They still talk about y'all guys, man. They
Oh,
do.
yes, they
do.
still
Still
oh,
talk about
go.
y'all.
That's right.
They still do.
I know they
you know?
did.
But you understood the process.
I do.
When drugs came on 17th Street, eventually 18th Street, 19th Street, then they took over the community.
That's correct.
So to take the community back, you gotta do about block by block concept.
It's
Let's
house by
take-
house.
House by house. Let's take this block.
I
you know
want to
what
say something, and I want to, for those who are watching us and where I understand both of these brothers because I come from a mother that raised us off of welfare where we had 5 brothers where my father left off, where it was hard at that time raising 5 children, where the school system, where they took in the 80s where they came up with an idea to eliminate trades in schools, where black people was on their way, but also they took out the trades and flooded with crack cocaine and heroin and alcohol, where a lot of blacks has become greedy, and then we have a lot of jealousy that's going around brothers today. We send you up there to represent us. I remember when I came to prison with me, Charlie Mack, Daryl Schuler, Golden Girl, Michael Nutter, Ronald Waters.
Kevin Grant School.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, Lucian, Tommy
Yeah,
Blackwell.
Kevin
I
Grant
was there
School.
with them.
I remember y'all
Where
doing
when we came up there and the word spread so much in the prison system, like it went like we weren't even in there, but the word got out that we was there,
Right.
where everybody was coming from all over the place, where they heard that I was there, where all like Sammy Black and
Right.
or everybody said Mikhail here, where them all guys knew me, but God plucked me out of all the friends and sent me on the wrong path. But I didn't understand that where now that by my 2 brothers that's here with me today, like we are reinforced. I'm just like y'all.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I don't want to kiss no elected official butts or ass.
Right.
I'm a straight shooter. Where I realize that the stuff that I say, where no one gave me a platform, and I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in this for views. I'm not in it for the platform. I'm in it because the young black children are suffering, and we have never understand what the mean by block for block, the block. And also each gun, one gun started from block, the block, the block. Because I'm Showtime the Hypeman and all those gangster brothers that's sitting there with their chests open but ain't doing nothing, but y'all the ones that's starting this stuff. Y'all the one that's sitting there laying back with your Gucci hat on. Did I say that, Gucci? And
Well,
then-
yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
I mean, my thing is, first of all, I want to digress back to the point of our mothers raising us.
Come on,
And one of the things that it took me to understand as I got older,
come on.
my mother, she had her issues. She wasn't perfect, but she always loved us. And one of the things that it took me to get older to understand, my mother gave me and my 2 brothers the tools to succeed. I mean, to survive. And in her infinite wisdom, she say, if I teach y'all how to survive, y'all can figure out how to succeed on your own. You know what I'm saying? And it took me a while to understand that concept. You know, because she wasn't conventional by storybook. You know what I mean? She wasn't conventional in any form or fashion, but she raised 3 men. 3 men that now are succeeding because we were able to survive. And unfortunately, a lot of our members of our community can't get out of survival mode. So that's why they stuck and can't get to the succeeding part. You know, and then we talk about that demographic on the inside, that's a whole nother workforce and contributors to society that need voices. We're locking our children up. Now, and that's the thing that when I have this conversation, that conversation was co-opted by people that don't love us the way we love each other. You know, so when we say people need second chances that's in the penitentiary, they aren't the ones that's out there pulling the triggers right now. These are the ones that went through a transformation that earned the right to come back. You know, and so when we talk about we got a gun problem, I'm careful not to really jump in that conversation.
Okay.
Because we have a gun problem right now, but remove all the guns and don't address none of the other issues, we're gonna have a trash can problem. We're gonna have a bat problem. We're gonna have a microphone problem. We got too many things that ill our community. The guns is just the outlet of what the problems are. Until we start addressing trauma, education, cultural, spirituality, these factors is what motivate them to pick up the guns. So while I'm not minimizing the gun issue and the people that are victims of gun crime, I'm out there every night addressing this and dealing with putting out beefs. And we talked about people that's doing it for the wrong reasons. I don't get in that conversation also because I'm going to offend a lot of people. And not that I care, but because I don't want them to stop doing whatever efforts they're doing. Whatever motivates you, let it motivate you. Just get something done. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? Just get it done. But for us, we took a conscious stance because we work in a real delicate environment, and people work on our trust factor. You said when you came up there, they knew who you was, and that credibility came with you.
Yes, it did.
And so with us, our credibility is something that's twofold. Like, I'm old enough to remember they gave out free cheese. I was in that line. Good cheese. I remember that. No, I remember that. But I also remember that I wasn't strong enough to not know that wasn't a prideful moment for me.
Okay.
So I can't understand it. I understand why people do certain things, but certain people don't want things highlighted at their worst point. And we got to be mindful that even though we're doing it for the right reasons, we can't exploit the same people that we're saying we're helping. You know, so we got to be mindful of that. So we took a tactical approach to a lot of our Instagram posting, our social media posting, because while it's informative and it's marketing, because we know business, it's marketing. If it ain't posted, it's not happening. We get that. But by the same token, if I'm helping you trying to quash a beef, which we do, we mediate a lot of situations. Or try to feed you. We want you to understand that it's out of sincerity and privacy. You know, we want you to be able to call me and say, listen, man, I need you to intercede in this. And I don't want it blasted on social media as soon as we're done. Right. You know, we can't talk about them doing a lot of these internet beefs and Instagram beefs happening and why these murders are happening because of social media posts, but then we do the same exact thing. We can't be hypocrites. You know, all men walk with contradiction, but they all don't got to be hypocrites. So one of the things that we're mindful of doing is delicately approaching every situation with a level of consistency and a level of respect. Because when you call me on Monday, you're going to get the same person that's going to answer that phone on Friday. And that's the thing about growing. We're growing. We can grow at an exponential rate. We know people all around the world, around the country rather. And they want, like, yo, bring a grown chapter here. But it has to be done with the level of integrity, consistency, and forethought that we work with. Right. We don't want to just put banners up. You know, like when you go to McDonald's, you know what a Big Mac tastes like no matter where you go. You know, so when you see a grown, and somebody say they representing grown, the same ingredients, the same character.
Wow. You know, and you helped me out a little bit because where your passion have changed, where I've been fighting, where I had no one to sit me down to correct me which way to go. Right. I have a passion and a voice, and I'm not afraid. Right. But no one is calling me to say, look, Showtime, we see your passion. We see what Philly Hot Radio got, one of the biggest platforms in the city of Philadelphia. But no one is calling me to, my brothers like Tommy and my grandfather's not here, so I don't have nobody gonna pull me to the side. So they want me to fail, or they don't want me to build something up. So what you gave me today is the other issue should I be talking about, instead of the guns is one issue, but also that the surviving kit where I was sharing where you can collect all the guns you want and give them a $100 gift card, but we're not giving them a package where the do's and the don'ts and how to survive with my parents. My mother taught us how to survive, a mother that raised 5 kids off of welfare, where all my brothers, we all survivors. Right. But you helped me out where, what are you hearing from young men when you, either one of y'all can speak on this, what are you hearing from the young guys that are 17 and 15 years old where they mind is shut down or they'll just focus? And what is y'all experience out there with the young folks where they look at y'all, man, you don't know OG, what's different? And I like to, y'all like to, with y'all question.
The thing is, you know, I was at Grace for all my time. That's, you know, 6 biggest jail in the country. You know, and my credibility stem from the streets all the way through grade school. There's no mustard on my jacket.
None at all.
No stains. My name is good anywhere you put it at. In any fashion, my name is good. You know, and that translates over to the streets. The young boy might say, you know, when I came home, I'm seeing kids who I know your mother. I know your grandmother, you know. No, they don't know me. They know of me, though. So when I come in the neighborhood, I don't ride by in the car. I get out, shake their hand, and talk to them. You know, but I always keep that level of respect there. I'm not gonna dress like you. I'm not gonna act like you. I don't want to chase girls you chasing, because then I'm one of you. Once I become one of you, you're gonna treat me like one of you.
Exactly.
You know, you gotta keep that level of respect. We grew up with that level of respect for our elders. They kept that separation. You know, and that's key when dealing with the young people. You know, I had a guy told me not even 2 weeks ago. You know, an incident happened. We went down there, we canvassing. I'm talking to young guys. We rapping. I say, what's up, man? I say, you know, where your life going at? Like, you know, like I'm not coming at how you make your money. I'm coming at you about the violence. You know, drug dealing is wrong. All that shit is wrong. There's no doubt it's wrong. But right now, I'm dealing with the violence. I'm not dealing with the drugs right now.
If you address,
I'm gonna deal with the violence.
Exactly.
You know, so the young guy told me, and no chasing. He said, oh wait, I don't care about no bread. I care about my body count. My body count. He said, I care about my body count. That's what I care about. I said, damn. I said, so how long you plan on living? He said, if I die tomorrow, as long as my body count is higher than his, I don't care.
And
so that was real rap. And I was stuck for a minute.
Yeah, you just stuck me.
I was stuck. I said, okay.
Yeah, I know we did. I know that was
Okay.
me there.
I'm gonna tell you what. Hop in the car. Well, let's get something to go. Hop in the car real quick. He said, I'll be back, y'all. We hop in the car.
That's what he called
Now come on down. Meet up with him. He get in the
that's
car.
when he called me. Yeah.
Now we having real rap. Yeah, I mean, you can go. You can take it from there.
Yeah, and so he pulled up on me, and it's so funny because they're not used to people challenging them on it. It sounds fly to say you want to be a gangster. It sounds fly to say you want to be a killer. All that sounds good when you're not challenged on it, because that pseudo macho mentality is, am I going to say no? Because now no is synonymous with being a chump. So I'm like, oh, you want to be a killer? That's what's up. And so he like, what? I said, yeah, go be a killer. Just know what comes with that. Everybody you looking up to is in the penitentiary crying.
They crying.
They crying. They crying. If you don't cry, you're not in touch with your humanity. And that's the reality of it. If you don't cry, you're not in touch with your humanity. And that's why we do the work we do. So I'm sitting there talking to him. I'm like, yo, dog, go ahead. But listen, is your mind ready for you to be a killer? Or are you ready for another killer to kill your kids? Because that's what go with all that, and we see it in the environment. So the thing is, it's not that scared straight mentality. It's, do you really stand on this? By the time we was done talking, he was like, you know what, I never looked at it like that. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here to change.
He call us all the time.
And now he calls us, exactly.
Come pick me up, man.
Yeah, like
Come pick me up.
because the thing is, they just want that conversation, but so many elders encourage that, or act like that's the cool thing to do. You know, the guys that call home that aren't the ones that's on the right path yet, and make jail seem like a country club, and they lying, and they put this false utopia over this prison. Like, I'm happy, this cool, we got it our way. All y'all crying, y'all worrying about y'all kids, y'all worrying about y'all women.
All the time, OG, damn, you held it down for Nightstown. Nightstown.
Yeah.
I said, I held it down, man. I said, let me tell you about the nights in that cell, though.
Yeah.
When my mother died, couldn't go to a funeral. My grandmother died. My father died.
And
I said, I went through some hard times in there.
Yeah.
You know, I said, the people I leaned on was brothers in there with me.
That made that transition. Because
That
you
made
get
the
away from
transition,
everybody
man.
else. Because this is the thing. We sit up here, we're not extraordinary. We actually ordinary in a sense. But we don't get highlighted. You know, there's other organizations out there, Unincarcerated Minds, Bobby Harris. You know, Man Up, Mike Butler and Tariq, and all these dudes, these brothers, Big Hick and them, these brothers out here putting work in. You know what I mean? And the reason it's important to understand that is if you look more at them as co-defendants of the people that are doing wrong and less of the people that are doing wrong, more of the people that's doing right, and less of the people that's doing wrong, you change the dynamic of the conversation. And the young boys don't see that enough. They're not highlighted on platforms. And one more thing I wanted to add, you mentioned about credibility. One of the things that made us so successful in such a short period of time is that credibility, that ability to navigate different circles and environments. We can actually go into the political arena with different state reps, even the mayor, district attorney, all these different elected officials, and come to the table and have dialogue. What comes of it? You know, that's yet to be seen, but we have these dialogues. But then we also can go to the street corner, have these dialogues.
Any part of the city.
But even more so that we bring a third dynamic, we also have dialogues with the guys in the penitentiary. You know, that's a development in a workforce that's not even being discussed. These guys need to come to the table because a lot of these young boys is emulating those names from their community. So they hear the first part of their lives, but they don't hear the transition.
Exactly.
You know, like for example, people talk about Malcolm X, and I just use this lightly because it's so funny. I was just watching something on TV not too long ago. And Malcolm X went through phases of his life. And if you ever got stuck in one phase, you wouldn't got the totality of the story. Mm-hmm. And so many young guys get the one phase of a lot of these dudes, they look up lives and never see the totality of the story.
Yeah, like let me say, when I went to the greatest for it in '95, I'm looking for Wack, Dwayne Brunson, Sharif. So I'm looking for Wack. Where my way Wack at?
Where Wack at?
Wack ran Nights Down. So I'm expecting to see Wack, the gangster. Wack, the guy everybody looked up to. He was Wack and said, set your dumb ass down and go to school.
Yes, sir.
Educate yourself. So I got to see Wack, the man. I got to see
Which
Wack,
is not even his name no more.
Sharif. I got to see Sharif. I got to see Sharif as the man, as someone who's transitioned from that criminal lifestyle. Even though he's innocent in prison, didn't do the homicide, but I got to see Sharif that educated me. Like I always tell people, man, when you look at me, you're seeing the work of a bunch of men, man, throughout my life in penitentiary.
Not the system.
Not the system.
Not the
You're
system.
seeing the men inside the penitentiary who showed me the love and care, who guided me the way I am now. Like this transition, it didn't happen just because. It was work to make this transition.
Yeah.
You know, and it's work to keep the transition. Because sometimes, man, you can't slip back to the old lifestyle. When I see these young boys out here now doing some of the things they doing, I be like, man, back in the day I did such and such to you. You know what I mean? But who I am now won't allow that.
And that's the thing that with these young boys and the violence. This violence is out of hand. First of all, let's not let this conversation get away from the meat and potatoes. And I want to bring it back home to highlight this. Everything we're talking is context. It's context to why we feel compelled to do this work, why we understand what is ailing a lot of the young boys in our community, but also a lot of the elders in our community. You know, he spoke on being seen different. They're not disrespectful as much as we make them out to be.
Right.
They're disrespectful to people that jump in their lanes. Because they know with me, I could be friendly with you, but I'm not your friend. And I learned that from my elders. We could be cool, I'm gonna be friendly, but I'm not your friend. Because with my friend, we have different lanes.
That's correct.
And it's the same thing with these young boys. You can't change. You know, you got Pastor Call. Me and him had a conversation the other day. Good guy. Another person out here doing the work. They call it the hashtag the pastor of the hood. And this is what's so beautiful about Grown. We've transcended barriers. You know, we know, and you learn in college and all these other education about boundary making mechanisms. These things that keep things divided. We don't see that because we live division through them walls. They divide us from society. I refuse to come out here and put more division up between me and my people, me and our community. But with the same token, we understand it's a transition that needs to be addressed. When we talk about somebody that's got the heart to go out there and kill, or the lack of heart, however you want to look at it, there's a transition that he needs to go through. It ain't gonna say if this young boy was shooting up the block on Tuesday, Wednesday he's not just gonna stop because you said stop. And before I even ask you why you shot on Tuesday, I want to know what happened to you on Sunday. You know, and this is the transition, and you go through these things in these phases, and then you address the issue. You know, it's like we talk about, and you hear the words that is an epidemic and a pandemic and all these things that's ill in our communities now. If you're going to utilize making it synonymous with health issues and medical problems, there are stages in addressing diseases.
I want to say something for those who are watching us, that the phone lines are open where you can ask them a question where they're going to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth, where they came here voluntarily because of, want to give Coleman a shout out because
Coleman Glass, yes sir.
Coleman,
Another guy,
it's my two sons' grandfather, Mikkel and Malik, where I wanted to also, my son is incarcerated too, where they had followed a path where even though I have never did prison, but my two simple people look at me, and I'm looking at the elected officials where they look at Showtime the Hypeman, feel that I need to do 27 years for me to be on the platform. But I have learned from the same environment where I have did everything, but only difference between me, that I survive and sustain to stay out here and didn't go through the system.
Right.
Where that doesn't make Showtime the Hype Man a weak person.
No doubt.
Where I have the knowledge, where I'm working with y'all,
Make you a
where
smart person.
and so they look at me all where you supposed to be on. So I see that I've been misguiding where because I didn't do time or I didn't do anything, but I feel that I have a surviving kid where I have learned the do's and the don'ts.
Right.
Where I was blessed to be with men.
Right.
Where at 17 years old, I couldn't do what people do at 17.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Honorable Lucian Blackwell depended on me to be at his house at 4 a.m. in the morning. So you know I could not be late
Right.
Yeah.
being with him.
Right.
Where he set me down and said, look, Showtime. My name was Mikhail. Where that's where I gained my name as Mikhail. Where I soldiered for Elijah Muhammad. Where I was, went to 12C at the time. I was in all that area.
Okay.
Where he had set the tone, and I'm so grateful for the Honorable Lucian Blackwell and James Williams, where they took Basil Patterson, was in the organization. Lenny Patterson, that's doing Time Life. Where all of us, it took all of us, bad guys, and changed my life, but I stuck with it. Even though I wasn't making no money.
Right.
Even though everybody was buying the cars and the Benz, I was wearing the same jeans, maybe wash my Converse at the time we wearing Converse.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. And they was bad. You get a red pair of Converse, and you at the bottom of the step looking at them all night long. See, y'all don't know about see, if you had John Smith, see, we going back, so.
Stan Smith.
You know,
See, I'm with you.
Jack Purcell.
Jack Purcell. Zach, I'm with you.
So I want y'all to know where we come from, and we grateful now where if you look at these two spiritual brothers, where they acknowledge all the men that helped them. They did not leave Gratisfor. Gratisfor is with them. I'm not talking about the negative part of it.
No, not at
I'm
all.
talking about the positive part. When they got men's and Gratisfor, whatever prison, looking for these two guys to make example. Y'all are accountable for all them brothers.
Held accountable. And that's the thing that we pride. When I first came home, I took on the moniker, the ambassador of the prisoner. Not because I wanted the platform, but because I knew I was obligated to give them co-defendants. No, because what you understand is when somebody does something wrong, everybody in prison become their co-defendant.
Exactly.
If you remember the Mudman and the McFadden situation, they put moratoriums on it. They changed all these things. They took brothers off parole and put them back in jail. And we all became their rappies. But there was nobody out here throwing a banner up of success, even though there were successful people.
Right.
My thing is if you come home and pay tax and take care of your family, you're successful. You don't have to be on a platform. You don't have to be out in these streets rallying. You just got to keep your kids out the street. And that's the thing. We all got different roles to play. So I took on the platform as ambassador of the prisoner because I wanted them to be able to go to the parole and say, guess what? I could be like him. I learned the same thing he learned. I learned from him, or in some instances, I taught him. A lot of them old heads, Coleman Glass, Gary Bates, Charles Diggs. Charles Diggs, Mike White, McKill, Noah Carter. I can name, Chucky Giles. These are men that are lifers that deserve second chances, not only because they aged out of crime, but by right, they transitioned their lives. So when you see me and I speak, and people say how eloquently we speak, or you're different, or you this. No, I'm representing the teachers of the men in here that deserve second chances.
Right, you gotta remember something too, though. That Warren Grace for it wasn't just to keep you in, but to keep the public out.
Keep them from seeing what was going in there.
They don't want you to see what's going inside these prisons, man.
And that's why.
You will see, like inside these prisons, you'll see men educate themselves, teaching other men.
Exactly.
On the block having classes. Whether it's religious, whether it was school, real estate. You had teachers in that joint, man, that took it upon themselves to teach other men. Their thing was, man, we're gonna send your young guys home better than what you came in.
Exactly.
This ain't nothing the system doing.
No.
It's something the men doing.
Exactly.
It's something the men doing on their own.
Yeah, and the funny thing I say about that is that's why I got to give a shout out to G. Lamar Stewart.
Definitely.
The reason I'm gonna give him a shout out, I have a personal relationship with him, but I respect that how he's taken the initiative to reach back to the men in there and understand they have a right at the table for the discussion.
Well, tell what you to march over this.
Oh, he's a director of community engagement at the district attorney's office with Larry Krasner. That progressive movement is helping our community way more than it's hurting it. And people don't have that discussion because at the end of the day, there are multi-pronged issue to the solution. You know what I'm saying? And while we might can get into political nuances of discussions, I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is anybody that's willing to look outside of the norm for a level of solution, outside of the norm for the love of our people, you gotta recognize it. You know, whatever other hats y'all might want to get in with people, I don't split hairs. I speak on what I know. And when you got organizations such as Man Up out there in there doing mentoring programs, then come out here and do mentoring programs. You got organizations like Grown doing mentoring programs. You know what I'm saying? This is boots on the ground helping our community. And that's the thing. It's not the old guard. The vanguard of the old has to step aside. You got to put it down. You know what I mean? That's Daryl Schuler's organization. You got to. I can name unincarcerated minds. These are boots on the ground led organizations that are addressing the issue that you can see in the community. And the reason I said that, whenever I get a microphone in front of me, I could talk for days. You know, I can talk.
But you're natural.
I'm natural. I'm natural at it. I'm natural at it because I used to sell it.
Well, Kobe already told us that once you give him a mic, that's it.
I can talk. But one of the things I do want to be mindful of, what I'm saying has some substance. And what I'm saying is acknowledging the other people that we rub elbows with in the trenches. Right. That's why I'm saying it. All those names, we miss some on the inside and out. But the reason it is when you see Grown, and that's why we picked that. It has a double entendre no matter how you look at it. When I say I'm a grown man showing up, that already denotes certain things in your mind. Right. Like, damn, that's a grown man. Everybody just named, they're grown. We let walk under umbrella. While they might have their own individual movements, they still operate in a grown fashion.
I want to say something. And for those who know that this organization that's with me today, where they're not in it for the glory. They're in it because men's have taught them in the time that they did serve in penitentiary, God has sent them to meet some other brothers that came from the same background, where we might be looking for Top Head, or maybe Top Head could have been the leader of a gang, but when we went up there, Top Head got about 20 books where he's waiting for you to give you a book, say, brother, all the other stuff that we did here, this is about educating the ones that come behind us, because the system has broke us down, where also the length of time where we know that prison system is a business.
Yes, sir.
In spite of, let me say that for those who are watching me, where when I went up there, because we have seen that people was vesting money, where some brothers, because they black, get the maximum, where if a brown person or a white person do a time where they'll get 10 to 5 years, but they'll give us the maximum. Is that true there?
Yes,
true.
sir.
Just want to make that clear.
No, that's definitely true. That's definitely true.
Where
discrepancy is crazy.
we also see that brothers like Coleman that has paid max amount, whatever he did.
Yes, sir.
Where we're seeing goons of people that will run this in this other country, where they are doing it like for nothing and get two, where these guys up there, these grown men, with a part of the grown that groomed them.
Yep.
That groomed them. I'm talking about groomed them. You can see that they're doing a great job. I want to ask y'all a question. If a parent calls you and say, hey, I need your help, where I'm having a problem with my son, and I know y'all get that a lot.
All the time.
What is the response from a mother where, if y'all come there, how does the procedure and the protocol to reach y'all? For those who are listening to us today, the phone number is 484-477-6348. For those who like to call up, this is your opportunity. Maybe your son or your daughter or your son is very confused and going the wrong way, and all he heard that these brothers organization is out here in the street, but there's no contact because they can't be all over the place. I want y'all to know that too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh no, we know that.
But if you'd like to call up, the phone number is 484. For those who are watching us around the world, you can be in Chicago, you can be in St. Louis. We in Canada. We are calling in UK, can call up. For those who are over in other countries, St. Louis, California, Baltimore, we're in New York City. We are live on Philly Hot Radio. My name is Showtime the Hype Man. We are talking about not bringing a problem, but solving a new problem, a structure, and it all starts with the mindset. So how did y'all quote when you first came home, where we just saw a brother yesterday was standing This got released.
Got released.
Waiting for a ride.
Right.
And some other brothers came by. Do
Yeah.
y'all want to comment on that? Even though
Well, I don't-
this is not about a gun issue.
We don't know the particulars of that case, what happened. All we know is what they say happened. We know that the brother's dead.
the media.
We know he's dead. That's one thing we know.
That's enough.
You know, so I
Yeah,
don't.
that's enough right there.
I don't want to speak on
What
what
I
happened, who did it, or why it happened. I just say it's a tragedy.
There you go.
You know.
and it highlights the brazenness of what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing sacred no more. We're talking about somebody getting killed on prison ground. Let's talk about them shooting at a funeral. You know, they're at the gravesite. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing sacred. We're talking about children being violated. We're talking, and that's the thing where,
Argumentating life.
there you go. And that's the thing where we have to have this totality of discussion. We talking about we losing kids, babies.
Come on.
And we're starting to get callous. They run the news cycle for 2-3 days, and then we forget.
Yep.
My thing is, where's the outrage all the way through the process? And that's one of the things that I want to highlight right now. And like I said, this is where I'm true to my word. I don't care about who get offended about saying something that's truthful and right. Where's the outrage? So somebody that does something such as that, they are supposed to be highlighted all the way through. We forget about it once it's off the news cycle. What about when they go to trial? What about when they go to the penitentiary?
Yeah.
You have to be mindful and held accountable for what you do. The problem is there is no accountability no more. And my thing is the outrage should follow those offenders found guilty. Like I said, while I advocate,
It got to be the same outrage when the cop killed on a black man.
there you go.
That outrage got to be for any black
It
man,
had-
or black
and
person
there you
killed,
go.
or a person killed, period, regardless of race.
Life.
I mean, life is life. You know, I understand with Black Lives Matter movement. I'm not, whatever. That's your movement. I'm cool with that. What I'm saying is that all lives matter. A cop life matters. He got a family. Yeah, I mean, some people may say he's a cop. Well, I don't care. He's human. I care about human beings, period. I don't care what your profession is. Human being. So that outrage got to be there when anybody's murdered, man. Like, and this is the thing that we have to come back to that.
My
We
thing
have to
is
come
the
back to
humanity.
the humanity of it.
Humanity.
Like, when the cop kill a black man, unarmed, whatever, marches in the streets, as it should be. As it should be. As it should be. I'm not saying it shouldn't be.
Be held accountable.
Accountability for everyone. Now I'm saying is that I did 2.5 years in prison for murder. That I pled guilty to on my resentencing. So I'm not saying I didn't do it. I admitted guilt in court.
You was held accountable.
Guilt here. I was held accountable for my actions. At 17, held accountable. You got officers trained to de-escalate situations
And they don't.
kill people. Hold them accountable. I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm gonna go there for a minute. I got some cops, man, on my contact list. I consider be good friends.
No, actually, you do.
I consider to be good friends.
From the commissioner down.
From the commissioner down.
Like, we work with everybody.
I consider them to be
literally.
good friends of mine. So I had no problem with police. I don't. When I was locked up, someone harmed my mother. Who she gonna call? She couldn't call me. I'm in the penitentiary. She had to call the police, for protection. No problem with that. And one more thing, man. Please, men, stop calling your mother a damn snitch if she called the police to help herself. I had a guy in jail said it before. My mom called my mom a snitch. I said, for what? They broke the car, she called the police. I said, are you there to help your mother? No. They had to help your mother.
That's another thing where we got away from, and I'm glad you brought that up. Words have power.
Yes.
And if you don't understand the definition of them, you can give any meaning to what you want. And unfortunately, we start giving meaning to words that doesn't apply, and it's not the definition. And like we talk about people in the community, we talk about people from the hood, we talk about in the streets, 13th Street. You knew the rules that you played by wasn't the rules your mother should play by. So when we get in certain things, we trying to hold it across the board and lines are blurred, and that's where we have disorder. There's the disorder in our community. There's the disorder in our family. I'm not talking about misogynist or chauvinistic roles, but there's roles that men are supposed to just play, period. There are roles that women are supposed to play, period. Yeah. And that's the laws of nature, period. So my thing is, so my point I'm trying to make is, when we already know we have individual roles in society, with those roles come things we are allowed to do and not to do. So if a person did not commit no crime and they didn't agree to commit no crime, they aren't labeled as snitches. And the rules is, if you don't want nobody to tell on you, don't do it in front of nobody. Don't engage them. So it don't put the onus on them. The onus is on you. Don't involve them. They're going about their lives. We're involving civilians in lives and then get mad when they play their role as a civilian.
You know, I want to say something about where we are seeing more women get incarcerated in a rate that we never saw before in this day's society, where we know that there's a lot of women out here that also have a passion that's inside there. There are mothers to the young girls that they want to act like men's or whatever the environment, where we're seeing an increase of women's going in prison and also doing the same thing like the men.
But I got you.
And
I'm gonna say this.
I want you to talk about that.
It's systematic. It's by design.
Come on.
They say the system is broke. The system not broke.
It's doing
The system
exactly
is
what it's
designed
supposed
to do exactly what it's doing. To hurt our people.
Come on.
Now let's go back for a minute.
Go ahead. There you go.
Go back to slavery. After slavery, you had Reconstruction. The white slave owners had no way and nobody to man their fields.
do. Who they got?
They came up with the vagrant laws. If you were black and you're homeless, you was locked away, you was leased out to former slave owners to work their property.
13th Amendment. Go.
Period. This is where this penitentiary, this thing came from. Now, as far as the women go,
You're free unless you're incarcerated.
exactly. A lot of women are being incarcerated for crimes of survival. A woman shoplifted. She stole some milk and bread to feed her family. Years ago, there would be a misdemeanor. Slap on the wrist, go home. What kind of aid do you need? Now, you go in the penitentiary. This tough on crime stance across the board left no room for individuality. It judged everybody the same way if you're black or if you're brown.
And
Yeah, I mean, and this is one of the major factors in that. You know, and also, you know, and I think about you as a kid. If your mother was on welfare or public assistance, a man can live in the house with you. Remember, they would come to your house and check the closets for men clothes.
everybody know the
Yeah,
movie
I mean-
Claudine.
Boy, y'all funny.
Claudine, no, let's
But think about it though. What that do? It broke the family down.
family structure.
I had a trainer one time with Temple. I do inside out for I trained with them. We had people across the world, and they said, "Tell me in your opinion, what's the worst thing happened to African Americans since slavery?" I said integration. They said, "Well, explain that." So before integration, you had doctors, lawyers, all in our community, man. Our best teachers, they live right amongst us. When immigration hit, they all left our community. They left a void of the positive mentors, those positive role models in our community. So now the wino Ned became your role model, who you looked up to. So integration came, it kind of broke that, man. Yeah, I mean, so in our community now, we don't see the community leaders now.
Go ask the lady.
Yeah, go to the bathroom.
Yeah, we don't see the community leaders now that lives amongst us.
And you know, it's so funny you say that. I read maybe about 8-9 years ago. I read something, and they were talking about they had these male elephants, they called bulls,
Bulls, yeah.
in Africa. They were killing things,
Yeah.
rhinoceros, trampling
Going
things.
crazy.
It was so much adverse behavior for the male bulls of that age that they didn't understand. They had to put them down. So it was like a herd of them. They was going around killing stuff. And so it was such a phenomenon, they had to do research and they didn't understand what occurred. Why did it happen? But what they found out, that very herd in that segment of Africa, the male elephants was removed. So they didn't learn how to be elephants. Transpose that to what he was just saying. We have a problem where people aren't learning in our community how to play their roles, men being men and women being women. And with a spiritual premise. You know, that's removed. In school, that's removed. In our community, that's removed. So while there are different systematic things done by systematic design, and we want to know, well, why are we here? Well, let's look back. And if we don't change it, guess where we're going to be in the future? You know, we have to get back to that communal. And then you said integration, and I laugh about that because Now, integration is replaced with regentrification.
Right.
You know, a lot of these wars that's going on is because you are being displaced. A lot of the communities are being displaced and put to neighborhoods where they were just fighting.
Especially the schools.
The schools. I can't go there. I was just fighting them.
Now
I got to get busted. So now you wonder why I dropped out. Either I got to go to school, get killed, or not go.
That's correct. I remember.
You know, so all these factors, like we can't just look at one microcosm, look at the whole macro issue. Yeah. There are a lot of factors, like we talk about the community, why the neighborhood ain't the neighborhood no more. Because nobody in the neighborhood know each other. You got somebody else from New York, somebody from Jersey, and then the one family that was there for 33 generations, they outcast because they don't have the economic influence as the ones that moved in. So now you wonder why they don't feel a part of it. And then we got, let me finish the one thought. Then we also tell these kids, why are you tearing up y'all communities? Mm-hmm. No, they don't, it's not theirs. They don't feel a part of it. It's them and ours. People are less inclined to tear up something they feel a part of. You can't ostracize them and then say, oh, you got to take care of my stuff. It ain't mine. I don't care about it. But if it was more ownership on property, I'm talking property right now, more ownership on business, guess what? You have a more ownership and responsibility in protecting and taking care of it. Don't say that you want a certain action, but you're not willing to give. You know, our children, right now, this lack of school socialization, do we even consider what might come from that? We learn how to interact by going to school. We learned social skills by going to school. We earned female-male dynamics by going to school. We develop alpha and beta characteristics by going to school. So now you remove all these factors and you wonder why we're in this state? You know, so let's not, if we're going to have this conversation, and I say that to anybody that's watching, if we're going to have this conversation, let's have it in its totality. You know, we talk about employment, and that's why I salute so many people that have job fairs, the one-stop job fair. You know, these things are regular occurrence. But with that, what I salute that one for is job fair and resource fair. Because if you just give somebody a job, guess what you're going to teach them? You're going to get them more resources and more money to go buy a better gun and more bullets. I'm just being honest. Let's talk honest. We talking, you opened up talking about stimulus checks.
That's correct.
Without the proper education, it's just more money to blow.
You know, and for those who are watching us, that we really appreciate, because we have never learned how to interact, where I have a phone line where they watch all our folks, I call them sideline watchers, where those who've been born in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and 90s, where they never learned how to participate, engaging in conversation. Y'all just watch some heavy stuff from both of these individuals that come here today in hoping that we can build something off of this. Where I've been talking about these same issues, where I had a brother here talked about business credit, where the Afro-American community is not used to seeing a businessman, where we might see barbershops, beauty salons, and religion leaders in our community. Right. But we have seen another culture that come in our community where they not even investing money to pour money back, and they are taking it. Because of the native tongue, and that's what Elijah Muhammad talked about, the native tongue, where we was lost with the native tongue, where I was talking about where my show at home, I was sharing where my spiritual God told me that, where I was trying to say, what can we do to spread a word called just for the day, I love my brother and my sister, where you may look at me like I'm a chump, or I'm trying to come up with something where an easy slogan when we approach each other, hey, I love my brother, I love my sister, just for the day, where I was trying to come up with something idea where all the platforms in the city. So what I did, Philly Hot Radio gave me a platform, where also I have done some things where people just watching me will say, pull me to the side, because we all need people to pull to your side. That's it. Sure. Even out, all my leaders are gone. So I don't have anyone. So I've been doing this by myself, where sometime even when Dr. King went home to his wife, when he wanted to give up. All great leaders want to give up because they're not getting support, or no brothers are picking them up on some of my mistakes. And I may have done some things maybe because I had no one, but y'all gave me something today to feed off, where I've been talking about the other issues that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the real issues, financially and education, a change of mindset. You know what you said? You said something about the young brother talking about body counts. That keeps sticking with me, where there's brothers that they approach, we're not getting to names, but his main concern is how many bodies that his numbers with him. Mm-hmm. That is some vicious language, where the mindset of our community, because the men's, where these brothers and all these organizations, they don't have to do this, where they can just focus on their little children, their little grands, or their cousins, where they're willing to grab all of our kids, not their own. They willing to grab all of them, and not got a problem to tell them. So we're asking the callers. I know that a lot of y'all sit there. No elected official gonna know you call me. So if you getting $5,000, or y'all splitting the money down because they showed you how to get a nonprofit organization, so you don't want to call Philly Hot Radio Showtime the Hype Man Show because your partner or somebody y'all hooked up with to show you how to get grant money, where the money bag people and the monies take the spirit away. And then when you do go talk from some children or some young adults, or a young adult that's 50 years old, still have the mindset of 30 years old.
Extended adolescence.
Definitely, you got
Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
So have y'all sit there, see a brother that's 50, 40 years old, have the mindset still thinking that he's 18.
Yeah, we call that extended adolescence.
Okay.
And one of the things that we understand, that anybody that don't have nothing to hold on to anything, and we can go back to our communities for a while. That's why the gang era, they held down. This is my neighborhood. Don't own nothing in it, but it's mine. And now that we being removed from the neighborhoods, guess what they holding on to? My body count. They want something, no matter how warped it is, we want ownership. Just like as black men, we beat down and tried so much. That's why is the number one abuser of our black women? Black men. Because the world got the foot on my neck, I'm putting foot on somebody's neck, and that's the sad mentality of our warpness. So the thing is, we have to change the dynamic of our thinking. And that's why I say we talk about gun violence, we talk about all these things, but we gotta talk about the things that ill us. We gotta get back to exactly, we gotta get back to the root causes, and a lot of it is the lack of cultural awareness. I can't say I'm black, without somebody else, like you comment, I understood what point you were making, but somebody else got to say, well, I'm white, why you got to be black? Why can't I be black? That gives context to who I am. Because if I'm not black, then you don't understand the views of my life. You don't understand the obstacles I had to face. You don't understand the choices I made. Don't remove my story and then just say we all one story. No, I got a different page in this book. And then that's the thing that we get away from. And that's why when you get a group of people that understand the eclectic beauty and eclecticism and how we all look different and got different voices and different stories, that's the beauty of success right there. Because we don't have to come with a monolithic approach. But I am a black man that has my issues. I'm from North Philly. I say that too. I give a context. And that ain't from a geographical perspective. Okay, go on, but with that, you know my story. That's right. All this gives context to who we are. And if you take away that, you're taking away the history, the limited history that I do know about myself.
This is crazy if you say that. Me and my wife always had a discussion. She's been to Anne Frank's house numerous times. Mm-hmm. They watched the movie, what's the movie they got? They read Anne Frank's book.
I don't call it that. No.
It's a damn movie with the Hilary Swank. Yeah. Anyway, they read the Anne Frank diaries. Yeah. And they became so enthused and wanted to bring her to America to talk about her story. Yeah. We're so enamored with other people's history, not with our own. Mm-hmm. We got a rich history in this country and before we came to this country. Mm-hmm. A rich history. We don't know about the history. In school, what did we learn in school? We were slaves.
Civil
Dr.
rights.
King.
Civil rights.
Now we're free.
And shut up.
That's what we learned.
That was it.
And shut up.
And what's my man? He made the he do chicken peanuts.
George Washington Carver. And the same thing every
That's
month.
what we learned.
Same ones, yeah. George
We
Washington
learned
Carver.
our-
And dates.
In dates.
Yeah.
we learned our rich history.
Remember that date?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they exactly.
I literally just brought home 2 days ago a game on African culture.
Yeah.
So I want my stepdaughter to know about her history, about her roots. Like you said, if you don't know who you are, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah, like and
You know
then
what I
and then
mean?
let's not make history this mystified conversation.
That wasn't
You
that long
mentioned
ago.
before we came online, we were talking about David Richardson.
Yeah.
That's our history.
Yeah.
This brother, like Cecil B. Moore, these are historians.
Come on.
You know, we can't get to where we at to ignore that part of our history.
We on their shoulders.
You know what I mean? We on their shoulders.
We on their shoulders.
And with the same token, I'm Black history. My story wasn't supposed to end the way it ended. I'm Black history. And I don't say that with a badge of honor, but I say it with a level of pride. And that's the thing, because there's guys in that cell right now that look at me and say, you know what? That's me next.
Yeah.
You know, there's people in this community that knew the nonsense I was in that says, you know what? Your mother be proud of you. That's what fuels me. And then there's young boys that walk up to me and say, I heard about you.
Yeah.
What's up now? Because they understand the drive and the passion. I'm going to go with everything. And they watch me. When I first came home, we talk about this. I came home in July 2018. For the first year, you don't know how many nonsense conversations I had to walk away from. Because people thought it was a fraud.
Right.
They didn't understand my change was sincere.
That's the
That was that jail stuff. That was that jail stuff. That's that jailhouse talk.
You don't mean that.
When you gonna shake that jailhouse talk?
Come on out of that shit.
Come on out there and shake that jailhouse talk. We waiting on you. We waiting on
We
you.
waiting. They waiting for you.
And the funny thing is how many people will come together for ignorance. But these same people I come to, I say, yo, it's a rally, y'all coming? Oh man, I got something to do. Wait, y'all was waiting on me, right? Y'all wasn't waiting on this me.
Right.
Y'all was waiting on somebody else.
You know, I want to say something, and for those who are watching us, we're talking facts and truth where this is nonsense, where they didn't come here to play.
Not at all.
I want y'all to know that
We came to do grown man
they
work.
came to come do grown man. We are here doing grown man work today where they take pride of wearing them shirts. They wouldn't have these shirts on because they was taught when they left that know that them other brothers got hope that's doing 30 years or been up since 15 years old, where they give them hope, where they was mentally stirred when they went at nighttime and they said, shut the biscuits, where they go cry and stick their head somewhere.
Yeah.
And all them brothers that are watching us in every penitentiary, doesn't have to be in Pennsylvania,
Right.
where we know that the system has failed a lot of us and took books away, took education, where
Pell Grants. All
so, because what we are talking about now is an example where this phone line should be wide open because everybody's watching us.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
that. Yeah.
But we understand the labor, the condition of our culture, where he talked about going to rallies, where the real brothers and sisters that's cute won't come to the rally because it didn't affect them. But
Right.
something happened to them, then they want to come for 2 times, and then they
No
start
doubt.
fading
They
away.
fade away. No consistency.
Going back. So what y'all seen, even you had a lot of brothers and friends early on that maybe showed up, but you see them lately, they falling back when you call up. So Philly Hot Radio is a platform, if y'all allow us, for grown folks station here,
Yeah, well,
where I want to give y'all any day
Okay.
to have a show here.
Thank you.
Definitely.
This something that whatever we can do, Philly Hot Radio, we want to give y'all day
Okay.
where y'all can hold your own show, grown folks show, where also we want to get phone calls, people to call from prison system,
Yeah.
where we can allow them to call up, because it's important that we know that Showtime the Hype Man is not going to leave my brothers and sisters that's home, because it's important for me to do the work for them where they can't, where I understood when Booker T. Washington, where he married a white woman in that time, even though a lot of people didn't understand it, because at that time he had to marry a white lady to get his stuff through some doors. Mm-hmm. So he used the mindset of the condition of the education that he had, right. Even though he had that, so he had to get a white woman to do his work for him, right. To get his information, where a lot of our artists and superstars that are afraid because of the money and the press, where the press will go find it, like Bill Cosby, where Bill Cosby was trying to do something where he was trying to take the media, where black folks needed more information going out in media. All the brothers and sisters that have podcasts, y'all, I'm not going to be doing no entertainment, no booty shows. My show going to be educating, open up the young people and the older people that still run around the street with no information. I may not get a lot of views. A lot of people might don't even tag want to come on because I'm talking truth and facts, where we are blindsided to all the real information and really tackle the real issues in the black community. I'm not afraid to say that I'm black. It's too many of us act like my white friends understand what I'm doing. My Latino friends will respect me, even my Asian friend, because they have learned how to help each other. They have learned how to build. We have never mastered unity, but we have mastered separation. What do y'all want to say about separation? Because y'all been in the street for a while now, and it blows you away how we are divided. It ain't no more gang war brothers no more.
Yeah, the thing, that's part of the conditioning.
Come on.
We was conditioned, man. By the time we came to this country, man, to be divided. You got off that slave ship, they was all different plantations. You had a son or a daughter, they sold your son or daughter off. We was brought here under those circumstances. Even our community now. I grew up, you knew everybody for 4 or 5 blocks over. They knew you.
The Browns.
They knew you. I could go next to you and say, go next door, give me a cup of sugar. It wasn't a problem.
Or the cheese.
Or
some food stands. Let me borrow some food stands. I'll give them back. Let's keep it 100. We gonna be real?
He said,
we gonna be honest?
We gonna be honest.
All right, let's be honest.
He said food stands.
Remember the corner store you had credit at? The corner store you had the credit.
Keep it 100.
That's correct.
You had credit on the corner stores, man. The mom and pop stores.
Because you knew who owned it.
You knew the owners, because they lived amongst us. This separation you see now, man, is based on, I'm going to say, I'm from Nicetown. Love my community.
First time you said it. He only said it
I'ma
once.
say it again.
Normally, he say Nicetown 10 times. I'm letting you know that. Every interview, he say Nicetown 10 times.
He
and Deandra 5.
He put that out there.
He been out there.
He been out there.
He said that 10 times and Deandra 5 times.
I'm going to say 5 more.
But it's okay.
But
at least he leave us good. Hey, but Nicetown proud of you.
But I say this, right?
Wrong there. He's from Nicetown. For those who are watching us, he's from Nicetown.
Ike's from Nicetown. I claim the whole North. He's from Nicetown.
I'm claiming West Philly.
You said something earlier that was key. Before crack hit, you had the nice in Nicetown. It was a great place to grow up, man.
I know.
We had Marcus Foster Field, indoor pools. We had it.
I hear you.
Yeah,
Let him saying it's okay. Go ahead.
Once crack hit,
it tore Nicetown up.
they tore Nicetown up, man. Remember,
they or y'all?
Us.
All right, put it in case. Take ownership. Don't remove it.
Us.
All right.
Think about it.
Oh,
we seen the men and women we respected turn the crackheads overnight.
You can make my thing geographical. Then my cousin comes from Nicetown.
Oh, see, everybody comes from Nicetown. Everybody comes from Nicetown now.
Yeah.
You want to somebody from Nicetown. Now they want people from Nicetown. Well, you recruited. He recruited Nicetown.
But the thing is, man,
Lord,
we knew each other. Like, I say it again, you had guys from top side, different sides of Nicetown.
Okay.
We fought hard.
I know.
But we didn't kill each other. We fight today and hug tomorrow. That's what kids did growing up. Now the thing is, no more fighting. I'm going to kill you.
Well,
yeah, I mean, that's part of separation. Like, they say, remember he was locked up, they kept saying this term, homicide.
Yeah, homicide.
Because homies was killing homies.
Yeah.
Killing people you
never heard that?
with.
No.
Homicide is a term that's a term that was
Coin.
Yeah, that's the word. Coined in prison because the majority of people is a phenomenon. People was coming through for killing their own homies. And so you don't got a homicide, you got a homicide. So that's where he's talking about.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And you know the thing is,
Damn.
we need to bring that. We need to kind of narrow that divide.
Yeah. And I think
and it's the crab in the barrel.
yeah. And
You crawl up, another crab pull you back in. Yeah, I mean.
that divide is all. Like I said, he always sums it up, and that's why I love this brother. Like me and him been through the trenches together. I did 27, he did 26, and through my transition, he came every step of the way. I remember the day I went and got him. I said, "Yo, we about to get in this inmate organization stuff," and all he said was, "Okay." And every step of the way, we've been moving because we each other yin and yang, and so it's not my friend, it's my brother. But what he's saying is, so he always sums things up, and I'll go a little bit round the way, but we always get to the point. But eventually, we get there somehow. I told him don't give me no microphone.
It's okay. It's okay.
But one of the things we talk about divide and separation, and a lot of it comes from teachings. You know, I don't want to stand with you because I don't love you. I don't know who you are. I can't love you if I don't love myself. And then we talk about conflict, and that's one of the things I'm about to self-promote right now. One of the reasons Grown has been successful with our youth roster, and right now we got 28. We got 28 mentees on our roster right now. 29. Well, if we go
You
20,
count him?
yeah, we count 29. The young boy that said he got a body count. I'm claiming him.
I think he's gonna come along.
He gonna come around, so that's 29. But one of the things that I'm proud about our organization, I think we've been successful, is because we don't teach conflict resolution. I don't believe that's true. I think that's a falsity that we give our young kids and they chase it, and when it doesn't come, it results in violence. Because in the streets, it gotta be an end to something. It gotta be some kind of finality.
Right.
So we don't teach conflict resolution. We teach conflict management. Because the reality of it is, everything's not gonna be resolved. Just because I don't like you don't mean I'm having to sit down and kumbaya, I'm gonna like you. I might never like you.
But I'm not gonna harm you.
But I'm not gonna harm you. How do I manage not liking you? How do I manage not agreeing with you? So in our curriculum, it teaches conflict management. And a lot of young boys see that and be like, oh yeah, it's not gonna be resolved. Yeah. You got women out here that don't like other women since high school, and they don't even know why.
Nobody don't like them.
I don't know why I don't like them. But guess what?
See,
They
these
manage
like,
to deal with that dislike.
Yeah.
But as men, we're not taught to manage it. We're taught to resolve it.
right.
I'm gonna go get my big brother. What are you gonna get your big brother for? Resolution. You're not gonna get him to manage the situation. You're gonna get him resolved. So
Or the cousin.
the cousin, and we're taught to resolve it, and that's a bad mentality, you know. And it's that's why we are bad in relationships. That's why we are bad in life, because we are taught with a whole different mindset than women. And if we can get a unified understanding of conflict management, how are we going to manage this situation? We will be more unified, because now we're both understanding, we're just managing the solution. You can have your stance, I'm going to have my stance, but we're going to do it from a managerial position. That's the difference. And that's why we've been so successful with dealing with people and being able to have these conversations and this dialogue, because we manage situations and teach them how to do it in a respectful and a grown way. And real quick, before you say anything, you said, how do you get one day where you tell everybody, I love you, my brother, whatever? My brother here coined the phrase that we use. And we tell everybody that we meet, stay grown.
Stay grown.
Stay grown. And we stay grown. And because if you think about it, when everybody trying to badge and stick their chest out, I'm grown, I can do what I want.
That first thing they say, 14,
I'm grown. So stay grown. Don't jump back into adolescence. Don't jump and be a kid. Stay grown. And grown men respect other men's boundaries. Grown men don't offend women. Grown men don't steal. Grown men don't kill. Grown men build, they don't destroy.
Wow. Well, before we go, I want to thank both of outstanding two good brothers that have shared their experience, they have shared their organization, they have shared their day with us on Philly Hot Radio, and it's a pleasure where we're looking forward, if they allow us, and I'm hoping that hope they were comfortable and relaxed, where we want to make sure anyone come on Philly Hot Radio, we want to make sure that anybody that comes here, that they be relaxed, that want to return, because the doors are wide open where we need black radio station, where a lot of people keep looking at us, where we're trying to develop something, but we need good brothers like them. This is a grown folks radio, along with grown folks. And I want to stay with the grown folks radio. I can have all these young people come here saying this, saying that, but grown folk, what he was saying, and we're going to allow, either before they close, we want both of them to say something on their closing, where a marketing closing, where you can start, even though he's from Nicetown. And everybody know now. So those who are watching us around the world, Nicetown's in Philadelphia near Broad and Huntington Park. So between Huntington Park, where Sid Booker at, and Wyoming. Did I got a little more area?
They gave us too much.
They don't claim all that. That's just it. They don't claim all
They
that.
gave us too much.
They claim like 3 blocks.
Oh, 3 blocks.
Yeah, they
Well,
just crazy.
for those who are watching, because someone said that where it's nice, for those who are watching us, some brother in St. Louis, where it's a little section in
It's
you
five, it's a small section in North Philly.
It's a small section.
it's a small section for
I'm gonna tell
Philadelphia.
you what they call us upstate.
What?
They said nice sound, the soft part of North Philly.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
So for those who commented, we just want you to know that Nicetown is represent. He does represent Nicetown, and he's part of the Grown Men organization, nonprofit organization. So we're gonna allow this brother to say his closing mark. Then my brother that loved the microphone, I love his energy. Where these two brothers has bonded together, where they both got their back. Where you can't come in this organization, they're not gonna pick it up. So you can't go through these two brothers. They're gonna pick it up right where, and they're gonna pull you to the side.
No doubt.
We got people that's up there representing, and we ain't come here for that nonsense. So do your closing, then I'll close the show.
See, the thing that makes Grown so successful, I think, because we know our strengths and our weaknesses. Like, this is my brother. This our talker. When it's time to speak on the platform, this is my man. I'm not really a talker, but I can talk when I need to, But give my man the mic, it's over with.
Okay, it's over with.
Need one mic.
One mic.
I'm glad you had 3. You might have got to speak today. I'm glad you had 3. You know what I mean?
Y'all see that Michael Jackson? Don't get your mic up.
But the thing is, man.
That's
you know,
good.
we were sent home with a mission. Them brothers, Comer Glass, Gary Bates, Sharif, Dwayne Brunson, these before I left, Big Bayon, Porty, before I left, these brothers, man,
Shakur.
They had a talk force. Listen, man, y'all going out there, man, representing us. So y'all did these great things inside the penitentiary. Carry it outside with you. Take this energy that you got in here to do organizational work you're doing here and transcend it to the streets. And that's what we did. But we are their co-defendants.
Yeah.
We are them. They are us. Like when you see me, I said before, you see a lot of people with a lot of work invested into me, invested in us. That's what you see. I want people to know that we're showing you by our actions, it's okay to live life inside of prison. People change. There's no way the same person at 15, you're at 25, or at 35, or 45. People change. Evolution, it happens. So these brothers sit in the penitentiary for 35, 45, 50 years. These men has changed. They demonstrate through their actions that they've changed. They should no longer be there. They got a thing of grace for it called Return of the Missing Men. When men return to the area, when men return to the streets, you'll see crime decrease. You'll see things stop because men back in the community. And I'm not taking nothing away from the guys out here now. I'm not saying you're not men. So don't take it as me saying that. I'm just saying that when these brothers
got more help
from the
coming.
penitentiary, there's more help coming.
More help coming.
So I'm gonna close out by saying to everyone out there, man, get involved. What's up, Mark? I see you. Get involved, man. It's a place for everyone. And the thing is that know your role, know your lane, stay in that lane.
Stay in it.
Well, go ahead and do your thing.
All right. Well, part of my thing is he don't tell you. He tells me what to say. So that's so he told you my role. I'm a speaker. He ain't tell you. He the one write down my script. But first, I'm gonna say I'm gonna self promote and say our web page is wearegrown.org. We could be reached at 267-694-1003. On Instagram, we have a Facebook group called Grown,
Right.
and on IG, it's
It's grown underscore grown.
underscore Grown. And then our individual personal pages also is a link with information about the organization. One of the things that I will close with more than anything else is my brother said get involved. And a lot of us don't want the limelight or don't have the passion to be in the front. Lead from the back. You don't have to be out in the streets to get involved. You can have an individual conversation with somebody, and that conversation can provoke a thought that can stop something. But when we remove ourselves and shelter ourselves from the problem, it hits home every time. You know, and I coined the phrase, and I call it the Spider-Man effect. And I teach this in our mentoring class, and the Spider-Man effect is this. Spider-Man had an opportunity to get involved in a situation he didn't. And what did that dude do? He went and killed his uncle. It's the Spider-Man effect. If we don't get involved, it's going to come back and haunt us at some point. So in closing, I would want to say, I want everybody to understand, get involved with Grown, support us. You know, whether it's through financial, through efforts, through spreading the word, through directing youth in our direction, whatever it takes, get involved. Because at the end of the day, before we can have a community, we all got to get a common unity. We all have to get involved. And I appreciate this opportunity. We're going to take you up on that opportunity for the platform. I want everybody to stay grown. And at the end of the day, man, we do this because we obligated. And we shouted out guys on the inside. We shout out guys on the outside, Unincarcerated Minds, Man Up. Like these organizations that we work with, Sankofa Healing Studios, she worked with his sisters.
Dr. Jackie,
you know what I'm saying? So we have a lot of things going on. And I appreciate you giving me this platform, this opportunity to speak, man. But in closing, don't look at us as if we're going to toe the line alone. We can, and we are, but we shouldn't have to. This is our community. We got a common unity. We want to see the violence stop. We want to see the murder stop. We want to see the understanding and love come back into our community. We want everybody to stay grown.
Wow. I want to thank y'all for coming out. We want to thank Grown. Be grown, act grown. If you're going to be grown, you want to act grown, stay grown. Don't come back as a child mentality where the grown have gave you a platform. So anyone that we want to thank our audience around the world. We want to thank those who tuned in where the phone lines was open, but we do understand that a lot of people just like sitting. So this was a great show. For those who know tomorrow's show, Philly Hot Radio, Whistle While You Work. We'll be here. Dr. Rock won't be here because we know that Dr. Rock's son got shot down on Valentine's Day where she's still coping with her son's death. We're going to the laundromat on Valentine's Day where they shot him with an automatic where the wrong guy
West Philly?
at the West Philly.
He was on that scene.
Where also that Dr. Rock, if you watching us, that we still understand why you haven't been back here yet. But I told you, take your time, that I'm going to hold up this radio show till Dr. Rock get back. So tomorrow, we're going to have a guest coming from, they coming from Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh having the same problem, where they sent me a shirt called Rise Up, Wake Up, Our Lives Does Matter, where I want to give my brother here this shirt here where we don't have many, but I can at least give him a token where it's something that we can give in. Rise up, wake up, lives does matter, where we want to give out a lot of stuff. Also, where we seeing grown folk shirt. How do a person earn it? Or how do they want to buy a hoodie? Or how can we do some things where, because, you know, things are opening up now, where I am a promoter, where we do shows.
Exactly.
Where it's not about me being on the stage. I want to make that clear. And in both of those, these guys, they have no choice but to be out here because they are obligated to the duties of their peers. Very important. They understand that. So grown people respect people. So we're going to get back to the show. We're going to close this show here. We got a lot of things looking forward in the summertime. I think we maybe done something here today, like they be welcome to come back and build their own show here, whatever day where we can find out where they need a platform where Philly Hot Radio want to open the door for y'all.
We appreciate that.
For y'all to do or whatever it takes, where I will cover the expenses for y'all.
Okay.
because that's my token to give back. Where even though I like to be on the outside, but I don't have a problem too with the microphone. Where y'all gave me an opportunity today, and I'm hoping that all your organizations saw what we're doing,
Yeah, they
that
did.
they can come here
Yeah.
on Philly Hot Radio, as y'all saw the spread.
no
Oh, the
doubt.
spread nice.
Yeah, it's
Definitely
nice.
So they
Yeah.
can sit there.
It's definitely nice.
Let them know
Definitely.
that. Oh, we
It's
had a
nice.
nice spread, y'all. So
Yeah.
y'all can sit there and all that kind of
No,
stuff.
it really is. And I mean, our partners and our organizations.
Yeah.
We got partners we work with. I'm definitely going to, turn them all onto this platform.
For sure.
Yeah, so before we get started, we're going to close this show. My name is Showtime the Hype Man on Philly Hot Radio. So for those who are watching us around the world, this is Showtime the Hype Man on Philly Hot Radio. That's right, we have a brand new show from 12 to 2 p.m. from Monday to Friday.
We got a shirt for you in the car.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Call us
Okay, you
at
might keep it or give it to your next guest.
484-47. Yeah, that's what I do. 6348.
They in the trunk. I go get them. Yeah, we done.
The show is over. Thank you. So, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you a copy right now of the show. Y'all get a copy.
Okay.
Everything we said is already give you your own copy.
What's up?
It's gonna wind up. Push the selection. Come down here. Then we can pass it on.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, definitely perfect.
Man, appreciate this, man. This was
What's
wonderful.
today,
The 17th. Wait, no, the 18th or 19th. 19th. Yeah, it's still coming. But yeah, man, we appreciate this opportunity, man. Anything we can do for you, and like I said, we got a lot of resources, man. We definitely want to extend them your way.
I need it.
We definitely want to extend them your way.
Okay, I did stop it.
We definitely would like to let us do a show here.
Yeah.
Well, I already said it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I just said it.
Yeah.
Let us know. Give us a
Yeah,
date.
yeah, we sit out, look at the schedule, see what's good, whatever. Develop, and we can do that because we've been formulating one anyway, and we just been trying to get logistics and everything out of the way. Huh? Yeah, I know. It's only 2 o'clock.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send it to your phone.
Yes.
Where the copy, I'll send that to your phone where you can watch it and send it to all your friends and everybody to see the day where it came out to.
All right.
So that's what we're gonna do. So
You want my email address?
yeah, give me your email, your phone. I send right to your phone.
All right, I ain't know if it go through. Sometimes it'll take long to go to the phone.
Okay, well
but
get your
you can go to the phone. You can send it away, whatever. I ain't know. Sometimes things be too long to go to the phone.
No, these I'm gonna look at it now. It should come up. So we got it set up. Yeah, man. So y'all let me know what we can do.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna definitely figure out
We'll go
something.
from there.
We
Y'all
definitely
get
gonna do
thing
that.
out. That's what we do. So I said that. So yes, these
Okay,
are
I
all the
see how it
shows.
comes.
See all these shows right here.
Okay, yeah. I'm
So,
definitely gonna put
so
that
all
on
you
our
gotta do
group.
is gonna come out. So I'm just waiting for it to.
Yeah.
to
Oh,
come
okay, you
up.
gonna give us the link. I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
it's still going through.
Yeah.
Because it was an hour and a half show.
Yeah.
So what we doing now? We just waiting for it to reboot.
Yeah, the reboot and download.
Yeah,
That's not a
because
problem.
I
man.
downloaded it and I started, so I'm just wondering why it didn't come up yet. 21.